All right, here it comes. Having been a player and a teacher for like a really long time, I'm used to having students sit in front of me, and I can hear them, I can see them, I can understand what they're doing. It usually takes me 10 seconds to know whether or not the student has been practicing, and so here we are at practice. How to practice. I don't know how many of you out there in YouTube land actually practice. Let me make a distinction. There's a really huge difference between sitting on your couch and noodling and practice. Practice is focused, practice is disciplined. Bad words, if they're bad words, well, I'm sorry about that. Can't do much about it because you're not going to leave the plateau you're on unless you learn how to practice. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So first of all, let's get rid of some myths or maybe misunderstandings of what it is to play an instrument. This one specifically. An instrument, like if I want to mow the lawn, what I do is I get an instrument for mowing the lawn, and that instrument is a lawn mower, and it makes my job a lot easier. But when I want to play music, I get an instrument. In this case, it's a guitar. And the guitar interprets the language of music. Okay, what is the language of music? What are the elements of the language of music? Rhythm, harmony, melody, and form. Those are the basic ones. Rhythm, melody, harmony, and form. Think of each of those historically speaking. I think probably music began as a rhythmic expression of the world around us. And then that probably became melodic as well with the advent of flutes, and I don't mean like that kind of flute, classical flute, but I mean wind, primitive wind instruments. Harmony came much later in the development of things. And form just means it all has to happen within a certain length, within a certain package. And it has to happen for sections, within sections, an A section, a B section, a bridge, well, whatever the case is, right? We're talking sort of more in the sense of popular music right now. Okay, so that means that if I do something like this, if this is guitar playing, okay, you've all probably played like that, right? What is that? I'm going to ask you a question that I used to ask my students. What song is that? I don't know. Well, and the answer is I don't know either, because it doesn't have all the elements of music there. So that could be one element. That could be, in this case, we've got rhythm. So that's good. That gives us one element. We also have harmony because chords are made up of more than one note. These notes harmonize. So we've got a melody and harmony, and I suppose we would have form if we kept going. So that's three elements. What's the missing element? Well, the missing element is going to be melody in this case, right? Normally, in this kind of playing style, you're going to have a singer, and that singer is going to pick up the melody. But if you're sitting at home and playing by yourself, and that's what you're playing, you're only playing one part of a song, right? And this is a very, very important point. Like if you're not playing the melody, there's no way to recognize the song, right? Unless it's a really specific chord progression, which is not all that common. So when we're talking about playing the guitar, which is a harmonic instrument, meaning that it plays chords, meaning that it plays more than one note at a time. If we're talking about the guitar, in order to play something more complete, we have to have the melody as well. So as you can hear, in that case, I'm playing the first few measures of All the Things You Are, and I've got a lovely melody on top, right? And I have to voice the chords accordingly. That's not easy. That's a huge leap forward to play chord melodies from doing this, that kind of thing, right? If you're playing the guitar as a solo instrument, and it happens to be, in my opinion, the most beautiful solo instrument of all, you have to be able to play chords and melody at the same time. And there are levels that you can do. There are simple chord melodies. There are complex chord melodies. And there's no way that you can get to the point where you're playing solo pieces of guitar arrangements without doing practice. And I don't mean 10 minutes of noodling on the couch. I mean, you're going to build an arrangement, and it could take you 6 to 10 hours, right? Depending on where you're at. So let's leave that there. And let's just move to if we're going through when, why, where, who, and what. Let's go to where. Where do you practice? If you say I practice on my couch while I'm watching television, you're not practicing, okay? You may be having fun, and that's cool. But if you want to move ahead and actually progress on this thing, and get some reward, if you want the instrument to start speaking back to you and saying, no, you have to do this or else we'll never get anywhere. So if you want the instrument to start talking back at you and say and giving you sort of organic feedback as to what this instrument is about, you're going to have to put in the time. And so let's get to where. If you don't have a place to practice, you're not really practicing. And now when I say a place to practice, that means you've got all of the elements required to practice. Those elements would be a guitar, but the guitar wants to sit somewhere. The guitar wants to be in a happy place. The guitar doesn't want to be kicked over. The guitar doesn't want to be stepped on or scratched, right? So find a nice stand or a wall hanger, but a stand's even better. And that stand should be sitting close to your chair, which never moves. This is your guitar chair. This is your place. This is where you're going to be. You're going to inhabit this place and respect this place. This is going to be a place of sanctity. And you're going to sit down, and there's going to be your guitar, and you're going to pick it up. Now, what else do you need? If it's a solid body electric that you're using to play, you're going to need an amplifier there as well, right? That amplifier is never going to move either. It's going to be your practice amplifier. It goes nowhere. The guitar with a 1/4-inch cable is plugged into your practice amplifier. You're going to sit down, and you're going to be ready to practice. If you're practicing on an acoustic, if you're practicing on an acoustic, you won't need that. That's cool as well. Okay, so now you've got a chair, you've got a guitar, maybe you've got 2 guitars, you've got a stand, you've got an amplifier if you're using an electric. All of these things never move. Then you're going to have a metronome. But wait a minute, to have a metronome, you need to have a place to put it. So this means you're going to have a small practice table. That small practice table is going to be for a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a metronome, maybe a tuner if you don't have a snark or something that'll clip on. And so now you're starting to build the picture, right? This is a zone. This is a place that you're going to spend part of your life, an important part of your life, a peaceful part of your life, a contemplative part of your life, a meditative part of your life, a disciplined part of your life. Okay, so respectfully, we're going to sit down with our guitar in our zone, and we're going to have everything required in that zone to have a complete practice time, right? So what am I missing? Of course I'm missing a music stand, because you're going to have to learn how to read a chart, and you're going to work on chords, chord progressions, and so on. And so you're going to be able to, with a nice firmly planted, don't get one of those folding up pretending music stands, okay? This is like you're going to go out and you're going to spend some money. You're going to actually buy a real music stand that sits there and is permanent. Are you starting to, get the picture? So we have a music stand, we have a table, we have a metronome, and probably a source of music might be a really good idea too. The idea of having a laptop in nowadays is probably a super idea. I mean, you can read charts even off your laptop, which I do very often, even in this setting that I have here. So you're going to need music. You're going to need a guitar. You're going to need a metronome. You're going to need a tuner, a stand, an amplifier. You're going to build this happy zone now. When you have some time to practice, you're going to just add yourself as the final completing element to this zone. And nobody is going to get in that zone except you. People don't want to talk to you when you're in that zone. This is your private place. This is your holiday. And you're going to have a little bit of that holiday every single day. Okay. I think that's about enough for this session. I'm going to do a whole series of how to practice, because if you're serious, I'd like to, I'd like to think that whoever is out there listening, I have no idea, that you're going to respect this instrument and spend the time with it that it deserves, so you don't sit on this plateau in the middle of outer space in the dark and wondering why you can't leave it. The reason you can't leave that plateau is you're not dedicating your practice time. Next time we're going to talk about time frame and tasks. And those are equally as important as the stuff I chatted about today. Okay, we'll see you real soon, and think about that.